Hey guys, Mumble here, and in today's video we're going to go over the three biggest red flags when you are purchasing an online business, whether that's an affiliate site or a content site, what you need to avoid at all costs when it comes to buying a website, and why, if you see any of these three things, you should probably run away from the deal and not look back. Let's get into today's video. It's going to be an important one. So I have a small portfolio of sites that I run myself with me and my team, and I also have a agency where I expand and help grow other client sites, and I'm always on the lookout to buy new niche sites at a specific multiple, and I also help people with their own due diligence across my agency, so I kind of know and see trends in terms of the things that you should buy and probably the things that you shouldn't buy. So I'm going to try to keep this video short and impactful. Here are the three things that you should avoid at all costs if you see when you are looking at the metrics of a website. So number one is duplicate content. Now when I say duplicate content, I literally mean content that is duplicated and copied that is exactly the same on the website. This is really bad in two ways. The first way is that first off, it looks like the site has not been maintained and has also not been correctly managed, which is not too bad, but here's the worst part. Google hates duplicate content, and you can even be penalized if you have it. Usually that means that they have outsourced the content and they probably haven't read it or gone through any vets or checks or editorial procedures, which just means the content's probably going to be really bad. So when you're going through your due diligence on a website, of course you're going to go through pages and posts and just read content to see if it looks solid and it also looks like it's been written by an expert or someone that cares about the actual subject matter. And one really simple way to actually catch people that have duplicate content is just to put it into a duplicate content checker like Copyscape, and then those tools will search the internet and just test to see if there's any duplicate content. Now a small caveat to that is sometimes sites will have very small bits of duplicate content across their posts, and examples of that could be like small summaries or maybe lists for one post that are very similar to the next list, so you can kind of copy and paste those lists. Now while a small amount of duplicate content is fine and is not frowned upon, if you see pages and pages of duplicate content, just run away. And number two on the list, which for me is probably the worst type of red flag that I would see and have seen on websites, is having a really bad and toxic backlink profile. Now backlinks are a really important way for Google to see the site as an authority, and this means that Google will rank it accordingly within their search engine results. Now while there are a variety of different ways to build a backlink profile, some of them are frowned upon, some of them are in grey areas, some of them are white hat and black hat, and while everyone will have their risk levels on what they will tolerate, here are a few examples of link profiles that I would generally tell most people to stay away from unless you are specifically buying it for that reason. Now the first type of link profile that you want to stay away from is any links that have loads of gambling or loads of adult sites that link back to your homepage and domain. Unless you have a gambling site or an adult site, there's no need to have those types of links going to your homepage or your domain in general. Also, if you have lots of foreign links, so think about links from Russia or maybe potentially lots of links from India, and that particular website isn't based in India or potentially based in Russia, for example. If it's a .com website, then chances are you shouldn't have too many international links because it doesn't look like a natural link profile. Small things like having an unnaturally amount of do follow links to one or two specific pages. Again, having really unnatural looking links going to commercial pages. So think about best lawnmower for garden. If you have the keyword best lawnmower for garden across almost all of the link profile, then chances are that's not going to be a natural, and eventually Google's probably going to penalize the site. Now the last one is links from link farms and PBN sites. So that's private blog networks. Honestly, sometimes these are a little bit tricky to find. So you may have to have someone kind of go through the link profile with you, someone that's an expert looking for these types of sites. Now while I'm generally neutral when it comes to PBNs, because they do have a place for some types of sites, if you're purchasing a site specifically as a beginner, you definitely want to stay away from it. And secondly, if this website has been built with PBN types of websites as the backlink profile, then the seller needs to 100% include that in the notes of the website so you can make a decision based on your own risk tolerance. Now remember, there are free and also paid SEO tools that you can use like SEMrush or Ahrefs, where you can very easily add the URL and the domain into the Site Explorer, and then you can check out all the backlinks and go through pretty much every single link on the link profile and make your own decision. Now number three, and the last one that I think are the three biggest red flags when you're purchasing a site, is seeing a downward traffic trend. Now sometimes multiples can be a lot more reasonable if you're picking up a site if the website is trending down, but you really have to ask yourself what the reason is for the website to have declines in traffic, especially if it's month on month. Now a few examples of these could be really bad niche research where the general niche itself is trending down. It could also be an example of the website not being upheld and managed correctly, so again the website's losing traffic significantly every month. And to be honest, the worst example and case of traffic trending down month on month is it being hit by a Google penalty, which usually means you're going to have to do a ton of work to recover it. That's if it gets back up to its original traffic amount. And here's the most important part. If the traffic is trending down and you still decide that you want to purchase it for whatever reason, make sure that you have the seller reorganize and renegotiate the price of the asset and the price of the website to counter for the decline in traffic, because of course every single month the traffic's dropping, which means it should not be worth the price that it was 3 or 6 months ago, because those figures are no longer relevant. So if the revenue's falling, the multiple needs to probably fall as well, and the general price of the website should also come down. So those are the 3 biggest red flags that if you see, you probably should think about the deal again, maybe walk away. Let's take 1 or 2 examples on a popular marketplace for us to just go through that now. So I'm in Motion Invest right here. Motion Invest is, as it mentions here, online content sites where you can sell and also buy websites. This is the buyer marketplace. They have a wide variety of sites, from those that are priced at like $500 to maybe like over $50,000. And you can very easily sign up, it's free, and go through all of the businesses that they have for sale and pretty much just click into them to take a look. Now, one really cool thing about marketplaces like this is that if you do find something that you're interested in and you click into the actual listing itself, it does have all of the information that you need, including traffic trends, including potential duplicate content, and also including toxic or maybe questionable backlink profiles. So if it has got a PBN or has been built on a PBN, usually 9 times out of 10 that information will be held in the actual post itself. But of course, it's always good to go into the site and double check, because sometimes sellers can be a little bit shady. So here is an auto site. On the surface of it, it looks pretty cool. It looks as if, based on the Google Analytics, obviously you can see traffic is generally staying stable and probably slightly trending up. We'll have to check to see the link profile to see if there's any PBNs in there. And to do that, what you do is you take the domain and you add it into Ahrefs here, and then you go through the link profile on the side here. You can use any tool, of course, but I generally use Ahrefs. So as you can see, Ahrefs has a similar line in terms of referring domains and organic traffic, so that looks pretty cool. To check out backlinks, you'd click on the link on the left-hand side here. As you can see, it's got 320 groups of links. You can change the types of links that you want to view. You can go for do follow, no follow. Overall, I'd reckon that you probably go through, at the very least, the do follow links, and you filter from around 10 DR or so upwards. And these are usually the most powerful backlinks that have been built. And then I would recommend going through each one, clicking into each one, just making sure that it looks correct and it's relevant. Also checking out the anchor linker on the right hand side here, and just getting a feel of the backlink profile. That's super important. Now, once you've done that a few times, you'll be able to sometimes pull out certain things to see if the backlink profile is natural, or maybe if it's been abused or has too many toxic links. So for example, international links or potentially PBNs. One other cool feature of using a SEO tool like Ahrefs is you can go into the domain, add it into Site Explorer, and if you scroll to the bottom of the overview page, you can see the anchors just at a very quick glimpse and glance. And you can see usually most of the better websites to buy are going to have most of the links going to the homepage, as you can see here, or a small variation of the homepage, as you can see here. If you saw best battery for BMW car, for example, and that was the top anchor, and it had over 20% of the referring domains, that's probably going to be a red flag. And that's just because it doesn't look natural. No real website would have most of the backlinks going to the commercial pages. Usually everyone kind of links to the homepage. So let's take one more example. We'll go back into Motion Invest and hit on View Available Sites. And we'll scroll down. So that one looked okay. Let's find one that maybe has a few red flags. So potentially this one. So as you can see, this is nearly a 3-year-old site. It's in the pet niche, and it's making around $1,000 per month, which sounds fine, across Amazon, Mediavine, and ClickBank. And the price that the seller wants is in and around the 32,000 mark, which on the surface of it sounds pretty cool. So that's around the 30x multiple on monthly revenue. So if we scroll through and take a look, again, as you can see here, it's around 30x. It's got around 40,000 visitors per month. Now here are the Google Analytics. As you can see, in January it had around 56,000, Feb and March it's at 45,000, April 44, and May around 43. So far this month it's around 30,000. As you can see, the page views are dropping. I wouldn't say they're dropping significantly, but they are dropping quite a bit. From the beginning of the year to, I guess, the middle of the year, June, it's almost dropped half in terms of page views. Of course, we're not right at the end of June, but we're quite close. So is the valuation worth the 30x multiple? Well, let's take a look here. So this is the 12-month data in terms of the income. It's got Amazon, Mediavine, and ClickBank. So far today, it done around $130 in Amazon and around $775 in Mediavine, which is around $800 or $900. So far in June, it seems to be significantly lower. So again, if you was going to make an offer, I would definitely wait for the June data to be completed. If it was significantly lower than May and April, then chances are the site was not going to be worth the $30,000 or the 30x multiple that the seller was looking for, and it would be sensible to renegotiate the deal, because of course if traffic's dropping, revenue's dropping, then the price is no longer going to be worth it. Now of course you'd want to put this domain URL back into Ahrefs and take a look at the backlink profile again, just to see if it's natural and follows the best practices. If it doesn't, and you saw PBNs and international links, etc., then of course you'd probably want to move away from the deal. Anyhow, those are the three biggest red flags that I tend to look at when I'm going through any due diligence for new websites that I'm looking to acquire, and the information that I give to my clients whenever we are thinking about buying new websites. I do have a 28-part due diligence report that I use to go through and vet every single website that I'm looking to acquire with. If you're interested in checking that out, feel free to leave a comment in the comment box below. I'll send you over the Google spreadsheet. It's probably one of the best due diligence reports that I have created, and it lists out pretty much everything you'll need to correctly vet a website if you're looking to acquire it. Anyhow, that's it for me today. I hope you found some value in this video. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.